Welcome to the two.
Sandals and shorts, and surf, and scuba, and sand, and sailing, and soccer. San Diego, California.
Season's greetings and welcome to Two Balls and a Mic, episode 242. Here on a brand new Monday, chilly Monday. I don't know if it's this weight or this weather.
Ahora sí.
Want to welcome everybody to the Two Balls and a Mic podcast. This is the San Diego home of soccer, the football aquí in San Diego. We're going to go ahead and get into everything that we are discovering about soccer in this beautiful city as it's developing. SDFC have named their first head coach in Mikey Varas. We will be there at the press conference tomorrow. We'll get to know this individual a little bit more, get to know his intentions with soccer in San Diego. We're also going to go ahead and talk about San Diego Wave's first away victory in the NWSL League. We're going to bring on our buddy, chief editor-in-chief, El Jefe, Abraham Cepeda. He has his own fan club, Abraham Cepeda.
Yeah,
so
he does.
shout out to him. We're also going to go ahead and discuss a brand new podcast that's on this platform, San Diego.Futbol. I want to welcome everybody. Season's greetings to everybody coming in, jumping on in. We're going to get to goals, gaffes, and greats as well. Chiba, you forgot.
I didn't forget it. I mean, technically I did.
This is a new look.
You also forgot.
This is a brand new
We
look.
both
I
forgot.
trusted you with a cable, a cam link. But you know what?
To be fair, you never told me. Oh,
we get close-ups all day today. Something might be the first or last time.
Y pues, Tony, que viva México.
Today's Mexican Independence Day. Season's greetings to everybody who is sintonizados to this podcast. With that, we're going to go ahead and just get it kicked off and started. A lot to talk about today with
I like this a lot. Felices fiestas, es lunes de San Diego.Futbol y el cuerpo lo sabe.
I wonder how that manifests for playback, right? That just roughly translates to, hey, it's Monday, San Diego.Futbol night, and the body knows it. Like, all right.
He wakes up and he's
But I
like,
want to know, like, how does the body know?
yeah.
Is the body like sore? Like, oh, San Diego.
Mira, ya, yo soy fan de
Um,
Abraham.
Yeah, no. The Abraham fan club runs wild. Abe Mania, some are calling it, is running wild. But
Vato, he's smart, está bien guapo el compa. Like,
good
Come on.
thing that he's a good boy.
he's a
Very good boy. He's a very good boy. So with that, we're gonna jump into this weekend's results of 2-1. Utah is the victim of the loss for San Diego Wave FC in an away matchup as we go ahead and jump into this week's coverage of San Diego Wave. Greetings, Abe. How are you?
Greetings. Feliz Dia de la Independencia a todos. Shout out to my mom watching. Love you, mom.
Oh.
That was my mom. That's
a day one fan club of Abraham Cepeda. Afortunadamente, quiera o no, fan one, day one. He asked me if I celebrate Mexican Independence Day. I'm like, well, no, but yes. Like, clearly, I have a boat with de una tripulación de mexicanos que estuvo aquí en.
Chula Vista did an event for the Grito.
So did the
Avenue.
entire city. The people are not in school or banks are closed in Mexico today. Like,
Yeah.
we should be closed. We should be making holiday pay today. Come
Yeah,
on, why'd you make me and Chiva work today? Okay,
sounds good. With that,
Go
have a
ahead,
good day,
Tony.
guys.
Tony, when are you gonna pay us? Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
So this episode of Two Balls in a Mic history.
But all right, let's
we
get
should do one episode. It's like the shortest episode. Well, like a 10-minute episode.
We've done 242 episodes in a row every week with a new episode, and I think that would be that. We need to just bank that one and just have it in the back
250.
pocket.
250 is just 10-minute episode.
I like that, Abe. All right, so San Diego Wave. We've been covering this team this entire rocky road of a way, but I think this last Saturday was one of the days that brought the most positivity out of this team for San Diego Wave in an away match. There's a lot of San Diego Wave happening. It's kind of jammed sandwiched between this Wednesday's matchup at Snapdragon, which is a CONCACAF champions tournament, and which is honestly San Diego Wave's best chance at anything, really. And then a league matchup coming up. But San Diego Wave, what did you see from San Diego Wave? As I don't know if we can pull up the lineups. Obviously,
Yeah,
Alex Morgan retired. She kind of took over last week's week of soccer.
Yeah, it was definitely a busy week with the Alex Morgan coverage and this kind of getting back to just the regular league season, and for them to finally get a win was just really big for them on the momentum side. But at the same time, it's against the Utah team that's at the bottom of the league. This is the last team that you got to win against. It was May 8th the last time that they got a win, which is pretty crazy to say as far as NWSL goes. And yeah, this lineup, if we want to talk about it, Mackenzie Doniak getting that captain's armband, I kind of wonder what you guys think. Would you have gone this way as far as the replacement for Alex Morgan?
She's got it before. 1, 2, and sorry, I'm just trying to process that red of your hat with the white and just how it just says Krusty Krab. It's looking at me. But I hope nobody with poor vision is tuning in right now. Two Mexicans, and then you have all right. Look, obviously, it'd be Sheridan if she was not out with a red card, I believe. And so we've seen Doniak with the captain's armband before, so this is no surprise. But I think eventually it's going to have to move over to Naomi Girma, at least maybe next season. But for now, hey, look, she's been playing her tail off this whole season, and I think that's a good reward for what she was asked to do in Landon's tenure. Hey, go play midfield for a bit and go run, go get your steps in, play everywhere. And that's just Landon's way of saying, hey, I appreciate this. You've clearly been the leader, how I want my leaders to be, leading by example in my short time here. Here's the captain's armband. Let's go. Let's play hard. And play hard they did, because immediately out the gate, with Amira Ali seeming to be the pretty much the benefactor of Alex Morgan retiring, she steps up as the lead striker. We haven't seen a lot of her. We did see her come in as Alex Morgan's replacement when she did retire after the 13th minute. But Amira Ali back in the lineup.
Amira Ali back in the lineup, and also Danny Colaprico
back
in the starting lineup. I think
Healthy.
that was very big for the midfielder, just to have two natural center midfielders at least in there. I mean, the wingers are world class, right? You have Maria Sanchez and Cascarino. What a player for Cascarino, this one as well.
Yeah, Cascarino is officially growing into, I think, the chemistry and the style, the way we're trying to play, that she was able to make some insane plays in this game that I think everyone's kind of seen, like, oh, this is eventually going to happen. And for her to get that assist and goal this game was pretty huge.
I mean, Cascarino is the best. I mean, the best attacking player Wave has. Because if I say best, I mean arguments for Naomi Girma, right? But I think Cascarino is definitely the best attacking player that Wave has.
It brings such a different layer and dynamic. And I mean, look, at the end of the day, this is, call it what you want. It's an early goal, something that we haven't seen a lot of Wave.
It's the earliest goal in Wave history.
Fun fact. I knew Abe was ready with that fact as well. It was a really good build-up play over on the right-hand side. That cross that finds Ali technically in double coverage.
It was a good finish.
It's a really good finish, getting that ball volleying it off the air. Good strength there to ward the defender off. And I mean, look, it's a new look by having Amira Ali there from the starting role. it's a little awkward, and she mentioned it in the post-match conference and just in throughout the week, where it was a little bit weird just having to step in for a retiring Alex Morgan. So she knew she was starting. She was starting out the gate, and boom, right there, Amira Ali comes in. I don't want to put any thoughts into this, but I'll bring my conspiracy theory back into here. And then boom, bang, bang, Cascarino making it happen. San Diego Wave,
Going an assist in the first 6 minutes for Cascarino. And I mean,
incredible.
for San Diego Wave, that the team that struggled to score any, goals at all this season, to score 2 right away. I mean, yes, it's against Utah, and that's the one team that you managed to always beat. But you have to take advantage of every opportunity you have. And I mean, this is just the perfect start for any game.
Yeah, and I
Absolutely.
think Mackenzie Doniak with that assist there is just that's probably another part that's emblematic of getting that captain's armband, because that was just the perfectly threaded ball to Cascarino there.
And again, this is a brand new side of Wave that a lot of fans, supporters, and people who've been watching Wave this entire season haven't really been able to see, is San Diego Wave really being on the offensive side of things. And it seemed to be very cathartic as the game continued. Obviously, it's a San Diego Wave game, so anything can happen. I was, again, waiting for the moment that this would just kind of turn into a tie. This is the way that this season has gone, just in general, and it looked that way for a good chunk of the game.
I mean,
here.
Utah scored a goal that was taken back in this game, right, Abe?
Oof.
Yeah, eventually, but this, yeah, I definitely agree with Tony though that during that second half, it did start to feel like, okay, the Wave are getting a bit tired, and now we're just waiting for Utah to score and equalize. Like up until they put in those substitutions to kind of revitalize the midfield and forwards with Melanie Barcenas, it changed the game.
And again, we're seeing a different, more attacking sense of San Diego Wave and what the capacities have been for this team this entire season. Mira Ali's been here. She's been part of the squad. And yeah, there has been health issues, and there has been just non-fitness, exactly where the team and Casey wanted Amira Ali to be, or else maybe she would have gotten a couple more minutes. But I don't want to necessarily speculate anything at all, but could this be something that maybe it was forced upon, where it came from elsewhere, that Casey Stoney was being told, hey, you need to play Morgan needs to play, this is who we have. It may be her last season, she's not coming back with a contract, let's get as much out of her as we can. Sure, Amira Ali is there, and she can play well, because we did see her in the Challenge Cup. We did see her play some very, very, very good soccer early on when we did see her fit. But if she's been fit enough to do what she's done in the last couple of matches, there's no reason why she shouldn't have been there to begin with, and why Alex Morgan should have been there on a tactical side of things, I believe.
I think it's hard to make that distinction. Like Alex Morgan eventually, it felt like would come across, and Amir Ali has been good off the bench, that it was a good option to have, especially when you had Alex Morgan built up. I think it's hard to just say like, yeah, we're gonna take one of the best forwards ever off of our field, and they would expect the averages to work out, but eventually, of course, she does retire, so that changes things completely. And then on top of that, I think Kira Caruso would have been the preferred option had she not been injured, right?
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, I can see that.
I think so too. I think it's always been a matter of fitness for Amira Ali, whether she can stay healthy or not. I mean, shout out to Hillary Beale, right? Because I mean, she had also a great game with some important saves, and just overall, I mean, it was also the return of Jaden Shaw, who got injured in the Olympics. So Jaden Shaw makes her return and gets around 30 minutes. So, I mean, I think that alone is also huge for this team to have such an important piece in the offense like Jaden Shaw being able to come back.
Completely.
Yeah, that's huge to have Shaw back.
It is. Like, I mean, she's such a creative player that you want that. And I don't think Landon has gotten a chance to really get creative with the offense without Jaden Shaw. And I mean, I think it's definitely going to be important. Are we staying hopeful? Are we staying optimistic after this win? No, because it's hard. It's against Utah, right? So I don't know. Does this performance change your mind at all on how the team is playing moving forward? Can they make playoffs? Is it tight still? Obviously, it's 4 points away now.
Yeah, I think it still feels a long ways away, and then you are gonna have to get some negative results out of the teams above you in the standings. But as far as like the next game goes, I think this looks very well for them. Like their style is actually starting to kind of show itself, especially in that first 30 minutes. I would say it's just if they go all out and put that pressure on Portland, I think they have a great chance because Portland is in a place right now where they're kind of losing matches. They're not in the greatest of form, even though they're very, very high in the standings. Like we could definitely see a wave win on Wednesday.
Yeah, so I think that, if you're saying hopeful for the NWSL, my optimism was crushed last week from what I saw in terms of the league, right? You factor in again, like Abe said, this is Utah, bottom of the table. They shouldn't have even won or competed against the roster earlier in the season, but you know what? They played well when they came over to Snapdragon, Utah, but I think it makes me hopeful for the tournament, the Championship Cup, where this can definitely give and amp this team up. It seems like that's what it just needed, some sort of a jump start to move forward because the offense is there. I mean, the players are there. Then that's what we've heard from 3 different managers this season. San Diego Wave, it's the players are putting in the work. The players are putting this, but the players are putting that. So okay, then the only common denominator here has been tactics. All right. So if we're going to go ahead and go to brass tacks, then it's about the results. Tournaments are about the results. Landon, and this is what I'm going to go ahead and just depending on how Wednesday goes. Right. If you get a win, great. Lose in Landon. You always say that you are more results performance based over results. In a tournament, you can't do that. You can't hide under, oh well, we did the best out there. It gives me hope for the long. No, like this is a short term. You win and you win and you keep winning, and that's how you are successful in this measure. Can Wave do that? Maybe. They won the Challenge Cup. They already have silverware this season. They have competed well they haven't competed well in knockout side of NWSL. They did win the league with most points, the supporter shield. But this is a different challenge here. Depending who Thorns has on their roster is going to be dependent on who comes out victorious here. But I mean, if I'm San Diego Wave, I'm throwing everything at this tournament here.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. The only thing that worries me is that we've gotten word that they're expecting maybe around 3,000 fans. And I think if that's true, 3,000 fans at Snapdragon is gonna feel like no one's there. And I don't know if that plays a psychological role on the players or an impact on the players where they're used to at least having 10,000, 8,000 fans, right? So I do hope that's not true. I hope they do have more than 3,000 there, maybe closer to the 8,000, hopefully. But if it is 3,000, I'm a little worried that it's gonna kind of play a big role.
Yeah, that's a great point, Chief. I never really think about you always think, oh, a lot of fans are going to make an impact, but a lack of fans can definitely change the way this team plays. That plays so emotionally and plays like this Landon style of ball that wants to be entertaining and get the crowd on its feet. That you might see a little bit of a slow start from them this weekend. But I mean, this is also a whole CONCACAF production that we're going to have on Wednesday. So it's like the signs are going to look different. There's going to be different ads everywhere. Like we probably won't see the football lines as much. It'll be mostly away.
Which, by the way, the feedback was absolutely phenomenal from that discussion that we had last week with Mike Kearns, who's in charge of the pitch, of the grass, the literal field, the groundskeeper of Snapdragon Stadium and Basher Field, more specifically. But
he did say there would be new corners too, right? He kind of hit that. So I
mean, and we're gonna keep checking in on him because that was fascinating. I'm trying to get, and again, if people like that, like it seems like they did, I want to go to these fields that he was talking about and just look to the distance,
Yeah.
of nothing but flat,
what I'm saying.
perfectly balanced fields. Yes.
There's also an SDFC supporters event that day. That is
Correct.
correct, and we're gonna get to talk about that. I mean, yeah, there's an SDFC supporters event same day as the Wave CONCACAF Champions Cup match. So
Let's do it at the game.
1000%, Abe.
yeah,
1000%. This, like, it's just
Like, hey, let's just have a tailgate.
you're
before the
already
game,
there.
guys. Let's just...
You already have 3,000, 5,000, whatever thousand amount of people already there for Wave, anyways. Let's take some more. I know I was talking with somebody and they were like, yeah, was it you? Like, take the coach and Mikey Varas for SDFC and see, hey, look, this is what a game day is going to look like. Even if it is the amount of crowds that you're going to see, just set expectations at this point. Because let me tell you right now, and again, this is kind of leading me into a different discussion that we'll see here in a bit, but SDFC, San Diego Wave, these are things that you're going to encounter. You're not going to sell out every single time, every single year. You might do great here and there, but
especially on weekday matches, it's hard
tough.
to expect anything.
It's tough. So I expect nothing less from everybody who's hating on San Diego State football and their attendance to come out and just take pictures of this. Drones will be, being used for some of these pictures, but it'll be an interesting time here on Wednesday. Champions Cup, as you mentioned, CONCACAF rules, so everything's in person.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna ask a question in Spanish. Just it seems the Panamanian soccer media has us rattled. We want to go ahead and give them something because again, this is important, right? Like this is important because it's a group stage. You have Portland, you have Santa Fe, who tied
in this game for sure,
almost tied as well against Portland 2-1. So
and we even get mixed zone after this game, guys. So
and we do get a mixed zone.
We might get to talk to every single Wave player after this game. That'd be crazy. We should come up with like one question that they have to walk by and answer. Just like,
yeah, no. Let's act like we don't know each other. Like we just
all
don't.
Spread out.
Yeah. And like, I mean, I'll be the last guy. You know what? I may not just speak English tomorrow.
Wednesday.
So Wednesday. I may just be in that whole day.
También mañana.
También. During the press conference for new head coach Mikey Varas.
Predictions for Wednesday?
I think we could see a 2-1 Wave victory again.
I can definitely see an inspired San Diego Wave team coming out, and you know what? Yes, support is good. Support is fantastic. But at the end of the day, like I'm really keen to see if this team is locked in. If there's only 5,000, 3,000, whatever amount of people are there, if there's 3 people there and it's just the 3 of us, they have to play just as hard as they would in front of a sold out stadium. So if this team really cares about getting some silverware for these fans this season, they're going to go ahead and put their all into this tournament. I don't want to hear from Landon, oh, why didn't you start this person? Why didn't you play this person? They were fit. Well, we got to conserve people for the Saturday. No, go. This is the tournament. This is the time. The time is here and time is now.
You think
we're live.
You think Jaden Shaw gets the start then?
If she's healthy enough.
Healthy, she should.
If she's healthy enough.
You are all staying very optimistic for. I mean, yes, it's a different tournament. I still the same Wave team against a better opponent. I'm gonna go with a tie, and that's me being optimistic. I'm gonna go with a 1-1 tie.
I mean, I think it's different because you didn't make it to the press conference post match for the Utah Wave game, and I can feel so. This is inside soccer, inside baseball. Abe and I were waiting. Represent along with John Richardson and everything San Diego, house builder extraordinaire.
Were you guys the only ones there?
Yes. Or else nobody asked a question. They're just listening. But when the Zoom post-match started, the person from Wave told us, hey, like the team is celebrating this. Their team is soaking this in. We're gonna delay it a bit. Sorry. Thanks for being here. Cool. Team came over. Amir Ali spoke about her performance. I think we can get to that a little bit after. We're kind of on a cool little schedule. We will be having Cesar H. Football, ESPN writer, as well as Drew Steck, who are going to be starting that new project coming up. Very exciting. But even with Landon, like he was excited for the players because it seemed like this was a cathartic victory, just in general, like a very high point for a team. And I'm for as much as I want to see the data, the game, like see and just empirical evidence, just to okay, this tells me who this team is. I believe in I believe Angels in the outfield. Like there's something intangible when something happens that's emotionally driven. It makes a sports team that much better. And I hope that's the spark that's going to carry. If it's winning this for Alex Morgan, if it's, getting the first victory on the road that ignites it, sure, let it be what it be. But I am still very optimistic now that I am talked my way out of that dark hole.
Fair enough. I think, yeah, that last question that I think Johnny asked, and Landon kind of spoke about just not just the players, but just the staff of finally getting a win. Can you imagine like working at some place and not having something positive results wise happen since like May? That's got to weigh on you really hard. So just good for them, just as far as like that release of finally getting a victory. Because I couldn't imagine just being like, yeah,
it's brutal. It's brutal.
Bad time since May. That's crazy.
Like it's having a restaurant and nobody stop at your restaurant. Like that's having the highest hopes in the world and nobody's there, and you still have to pay for rent, the ingredients. Like and people come in and be like, "Wow, why is it so expensive?" Like, bro, heartbreaking stuff. But
wait a second, you said something about your internet going out or something during the parser?
I didn't. That was actually but good job trying to set it up. So I went to the Orange.
No, I'm legit. I just want to know what happened.
So I went to the Orange County game.
Yes.
Because I was invited alongside some of the people that we've been hooking up with a link over to see now formerly Orange County player Duran Ferry, who, by the way, great job FC Northland, because they put his picture out along with the team. So as we broke the news, technically speaking, SDFC's Duran Farine has joined FC Northland, at least in picture mode, not in any official capacity, absolutely, but he's in pictures. Second time he wore a kit here when training for the Olympic Training Center. But I digress with that. Nothing else to talk about.
You can go to the video of, because you started talking about how you went to Orange County, and I guess now we get to hear what Tony's like while he's driving, trying to be on Zoom.
I stopped by safely on the off ramp.
Okay.
Are you muted, Tom?
There's a little delay. Tony, you ready?
Oh my gosh.
Tony,
did you pay your internet bills?
Landon just
Tony,
called
do you
me
want
broke.
to? You can text me your question.
Hey.
Or we can just end it here if you're struggling. Or Johnny, we'll go with you while Tony. You can text me your question. Johnny, go ahead.
You didn't get to ask.
So, to give some insight on this, I pulled over and everything's good. Because again, thanks to technology, you can join the Zoom call. There's no I don't need the camera. Camera's off anyways.
Yeah.
So I'm calling, and I'm by the San Onofre nuclear power plants, and the service kind of drops around there. So it dropped to kick me out of the Zoom call. And then out of nowhere, I see, I'm back in. But in these calls, you know how you have to be allowed to unmute. I came back into it as if if I wasn't allowed. I'm a new person in here, so I can't unmute myself. So I'm just clicking there. I'm clicking on the card, the unmute. I'm going to click mute, and I'm just trying to be as quiet as can be, just in case I do unmute, and I'm not fighting against myself. And then,
meanwhile, Landon, you pay your internet, Tony?
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm getting badgered over here. My girl's having a laugh at this because she's just like, I'm over here like, no, babe, like, no, like he really like, you know,
He actually
he's a
knows
pal.
me.
Like
He actually knows
you
who
know,
I
like,
am.
look,
He calls
like,
me Tones.
look, like, hey, Tone, like,
Does anyone else call you Tone?
nobody in my life has ever called me that. I don't know how I feel about it.
Hey Tones.
It's a little peculiar, a little weird, but yeah, he went with
I mean, Landon Donovan calls you have
pay
Landon
your
Donovan has
internet.
your own nickname.
Pay your internet. Look, we're gonna start something very soon. I will get
Hey Landon,
with
you
our
want to
next
sponsor
guest.
the internet for San Diego
That's what I'm saying.
football?
No, because this shit is getting expensive.
Come on, Landon.
It is high speed as can
Let
be
us have good
with
quality
a.
to ask you questions.
This is how the show works. It's been 242 weeks in a row. About 150 were on Wi-Fi. Then we invested in an Ethernet cable that, I am not kidding you, is about 50 feet too long for what it needs to be. And so
it's 100 feet long. Yeah.
It's just coiled here. That's why we've been powering this, powered by our paychecks. Abe, San Diego Wave. We can go ahead and catch you on Wednesday. You'll be back here a little later on. What are you eating before you go?
Yogurt pretzel.
Nice. Solid. Salty
Very
and
very
sweet.
Mexican of you.
And savory. I love that. All right. Kick you out. Say bye, Abe. Bye. He says bye. All right. So, also, what was
Chato pendejo.
yeah, no, it was no, and so I did eventually I texted.
This is the face of San Diego football, like San Diego
Basically.
soccer in general. You're the face of the media world here in San Diego.
I wouldn't
Are
say
you
that.
kidding me?
Please don't say that. That is incredibly
Just kidding,
disrespectful to
no.
the actual face who we have
We
in
do.
the
We have the actual face
in
of
the
San Diego soccer
wings.
media.
That's a much better face. Like sculpted.
Drew.
Anyways, before we move on, OC, nobody was there. Grant Stoneman was there. Thomas Among was there.
Did Grant Stoneman get a yellow card?
No Duran Free, and I guess Coque Vegas, goalkeeper, decided, I think it's going to be a great time for me and my buddy Drew Steck to have simultaneous children. Coque Vegas was recalled to Rhode Island because his wife was going into labor, and hope the best for everybody over there. So that's why he didn't go. So a bunch of people went to see Coque Vegas, but he wasn't.
Oh, yikes. Sorry, your Eagles lost. Just to let you know.
I didn't need that right now.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next little section here because it is incredibly crazy, incredible. Like it's wild that this is even happening. San Diego Punto Fútbol is growing. Está creciendo esta cosa. And as such, we decided to, hey, maybe let's have some actual good content through this. And we're incredibly fortunate to have our two guests come in and start a project that they're going to go ahead and let us in on. We've been privy to some of the goodies that are coming out from the work that they've done. But, and again, I wouldn't call it work because we were told specifically in the contract with San Diego Punto Fútbol, this is not to be work. I think for tax purposes, no. But with any case, we're going to go ahead and welcome our two guests. You know, one of them, the other one you've heard of, meat to mouth, and at San Diego's very own Cesar H. Fútbol. That's not his handle, Cesar H. Fútbol, ESPN journalist and writer, Cesar Hernandez and Drew Steck. Cesar.
What's up?
Gentlemen, bienvenidos.
Hey.
How are you guys?
Tony,
I want to ask how Drew's doing. Let's start with Drew.
Drew is barely awake. This is not totally substance enhanced. This is just tiredness. I have probably accumulated like 20% to 30% of the normal amount of sleep I would have had over this weekend. So partying hard with a 3-day-old child. So it's been a ride, guys, but great to be here. And we're excited to talk about our podcast and I'm sure other life stuff that's been important. Also, what's up, Tones?
Hey, Tony.
Is that common? Like you guys take strolls and you see a Tony or Anthony and you're just like, hey, that's not Tony, that's Tones. Is that
Tones and Chiv?
Oh boy.
Tons of chips.
But Drew, for those who may not know, has been a backbone of just San Diego soccer in general. Took his talents to not Miami Beach, the complete opposite of that, back to Wisconsin. But you had your first child, so congratulations on that.
Ooh,
I mean, I don't know.
Dude, congrats, man. Huge
I'll
congrats.
Thanks, guys.
see them in a couple months when they're, I work with children. Like, it's just, there's another one. Add them to
I
the.
actually
No,
work with
kidding.
children
Congratulations,
in my
man.
program.
I'm actually going to ship him out there just so you have to deal with him. No, it's exciting, man. It's one of those things where like you don't really get it, and everybody says like your life changes and you feel different. But like the second he was like born, you're just like, and you meet him, you're like, holy crap, this is crazy. Like everything in your brain, like your brain chemistry, like changes. So pretty cool stuff and pretty exciting time in life. But yeah, I'm surprised he's not screaming right now because that's, they have like 3 modes. One is sleeping, one is eating, and then screaming about wanting to eat, but then trying to get them to eat because they just don't understand. They're like fed through a tube for, where they get all their nutrients and they float weightless in this wonderful warm space. And then like they're thrust into this world and they're like, what the hell is this deal? Why can't I just live in there forever? Right. Yeah, I get it. Totally get it. So that's what we're dealing with.
Send Hughes, that's our podcast, and thanks for having us on, guys. No, just kidding.
Oh man,
babies. Well, if we're doing this, if we're gonna do this, I'll do this real quick. We'll talk about. We'll show some photos. There we go.
Look at
this
that.
guy. And we'll tie it back to San Diego soccer. Here's his little birth thing. Dr. Nate Miller attending.
Wow,
no way.
That's awesome. Dr.
Really?
Miller.
No way.
You didn't know, but he delivers babies on the side. It's one of his many talents.
Wow.
Was a doctor actually named Nate Miller?
No, it was a female Dr. Miller. But
okay.
I was gonna say no, it was a female Nate Miller, which would have like opened up like so many possibilities. But
female Nate Miller, Nat Miller, actually, Natalie Miller.
It's crazy because Dr. Miller usually has the I fucked this up.
Yeah,
this
you
was a
fucking
team.
did. Wow.
This is the Coque Vegas.
Where are you going with this?
Joke.
Yeah,
Coque Vegas, like he has a different
happening?
nurse in a different position, like a very wide.
Oh, yeah.
Position. It didn't work. Caesar, we've talked enough, and you are here. This is obviously something that we also need to get into because Cesar, you're following this child very closely. This podcast is you just following his kid through his life, and if you want to just go ahead and tell us, guys, like what's coming down, because this is we're very privileged to have you guys be able to start this and really seem to enjoy the first episode of this new project, and you can just lay it on people. What is this going to be?
I talked a lot, Cesar, but I'll let you describe kind of how you got roped into this.
Yeah, sure. So, really quickly, I think talked about it when we started the first episode. So, I've known Drew for quite some time. I would wish I could say that I was Bridge Barcata day 1. I would say I was probably Bridge Barcata day 2, 3. I saw DK, our
maybe
friend
not day
DK.
0, but you were day 1. If you want to put it
was
that
like day
way.
3, but like way back in the day, I saw one of my good friend DK, one of like the first like soccer friends I made out here in San Diego. He posted something online about them cleaning an underpass and playing some soccer, and I was like, heck yes, that looks super cool. I want to be involved in that. And then once I was involved in that, met up with Drew. He seemed like kind of a cool guy, and we've been friends since then. I don't play as much anymore. I don't play Bridge Barcata anymore because I'm getting old and my back is quite bad. But anywho, Drew brought up this idea. I want to say it was actually about over a year ago, and we've been kind of just slowly but surely
life.
Yeah. One of us just had a kid, so it's completely understable,
Right.
Yeah, I know. Right? Yeah. And in other news, and in other news, guys, gotta call them Tones. Tones. So, but then Drew came up with this idea, as I've talked about it before with you guys in person, that like Drew actually had this very eloquent, awesome idea about using San Diego as kind of like a vehicle to challenge and talk about more global soccer ideas. And then I told him, no, that sounds like work. I don't want to do that. And then he said, and then he's like, well, what about this idea? Which Drew, I guess
my idea was like, so yeah, we've had maybe like a 30-minute conversation where I was like, let's talk about
Yeah.
this and this and like how greenwashing's crazy and like all these different things. I'm like, oh, there's just angles to everything, the women's versus the men's game. We like kicked it back and forth, just like friends, like chatting. And then he's like, yeah, I don't actually want to do this. I was like, all right. On my notes,
Also,
I have another idea. Yeah.
For all those actual thoughts, go to espn.com/soccer, and I will happily do that by normal 9 to 5. But Drew
Where
had
I
this
get
other
paid.
idea, which I would, where I thought you was like, you know what, that doesn't sound like work, and it sounded fun, and
Yeah.
yeah.
It was low stakes, put it on the ground and walk over it type of idea, which is let's do a movie podcast. There's so many movie podcasts out there, but twist, it's only soccer movies. And like, how
Yeah.
many soccer movies have you watched? Maybe a few, but then there's a lot you
Yeah.
hear of that you've never watched or haven't revisited in years. And it's like, okay, let's break these down kind of seriously, but then also not at all seriously. So I think that's just kind of the fun that him and I have with it. It's like, oh, this is a good way to like do something you normally do, watch a movie anyway,
Yeah.
not do it too often, and then try and make it a thing to get inclusive with people, get people just to join in and feel like they're watching with us, kind of like a book club, but for movies. So that's where it kind of took off in terms of idea. And Cesar said to me after I came up with this idea and shot it to him, he was like, so it's a movie podcast that's not about movies, and it's a soccer podcast that's not about soccer. And I was like, yes, exactly. that's what it is.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, and I'm really excited just because like I guess the excitement about it is that like I'm just basically gonna like wing it with Drew and see what happens. I have no we've we're not gonna. I mean, obviously we're gonna we don't want to take it too seriously, but also we want it to be fun. But obviously, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Sort of.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm really curious to see how it pans out. And yeah, I'm looking forward to actually just watching a bunch of, because it wasn't until I don't know when I became an adult that I really started to like care about movies. And then before then, I didn't watch a lot of movies. So there are a number of movies that I need to catch up on. So I'm really excited and curious, like just to see where this goes. It might be the first time ever that like my wife is actually slightly interested in something that I'm doing that has to do with soccer. She's like, oh yeah, I'll watch some soccer movies with you. I'm like, oh, cool, let's do that.
Yeah, this project, first of all, great, love it. I heard it, I'm like, yes, this is awesome. Fantastic, move forward with it. But on top of that, you're right, Teaser, like this can be the vehicle, the bridge, as you're saying, to bridge our significant others into our little soccer weave. And really, like,
is that just the long con actually?
Yeah, I mean, because I mean, like as you're saying, like it's work, but it's not work, but it is this thing where you get to really kind of, I mean, hey, look, if this really takes off, guys, I mean, we'll have to talk and discuss other things, but this is a really cool thing where, I'm looking forward to having people really get into my girlfriend too. Like, hey, let's watch this movie. Like, I know some actresses here, or I know an actor here and there, and hey, that person's on this show later on, and just little tidbits of that. How many movies related to soccer have you uncovered? I've seen the spreadsheet, but I lost track. I honestly lost track.
You've got the list there, man. You've got the list there.
So there's when we started off with the idea, I was like, okay, so how viable is this? And I also told Cesar, like, hey, even if it takes off, there's like only a shelf life of possibly like, I don't know, maybe 50 movies we could do, and we're getting into like subtitles and like Swedish films. Like you're digging real deep once you get past like 36. So the part of the concept too is that we want to do this monthly. So we do want to make it a thing where people watch with us, and then it's not a heavy lifting for us, and we can put more time in, make it a little higher production, put clips in, that kind of stuff, to where it's just it makes it a little more fun to follow along, especially watching on YouTube. You get more out of watching it that way. And obviously listening, we describe it just fun, and you can not even watch the movie and have us walk you through it, or you can watch the movie and then laugh about kind of how we took it. And the jokes that we go off on. And again, my background, a little bit that I've never talked about on this podcast, is that soccer we talk about a lot. Obviously, other things I've done in soccer in town, and Cesar obviously as well. But I was a film major in college for a while, so it's something where for me, I think I said I helped make films is what I said on our first episode. That was the thing I did before I did computer science and some other stuff. So it's fun for me to use that part of my brain and go off in these directions. But I'm totally willing to go in whatever direction Cesar wants to go, or how silly we want to go with it. But it's fun to kind of do research and learn things about these movies in terms of it's hard to get soccer movies made, right? Like, who's the audience? What are you trying to put them towards? And then why are they made, and who writes them and why? And so yeah, it's been really exciting. So for everybody, our first episode is going to drop this Friday, just to kind of give a plug of like when we're doing this and what's coming. Cesar, you want to tell them the name, or you want me to tell them the name of the show?
Okay, so it was a placeholder, but the more that I heard it, the more I realized, like, I was texting Drew, I was like, dude, I think this is the one. I think it actually makes a lot of sense. It's kind of funny, and it conveys the idea of like we're having fun with it, but we're taking it seriously, but not too seriously. But we're doing Club Deportivo Movie Club. I told my wife that, and she was like, "No, I hate it." And she's like, "No,
back out."
and then I was like, "All right, yeah." It's like too many words, the glue, and it's like, I was like, "Yeah, it's Club Deportivo Movie Club." And she's like, "What? No, that's dumb." Anywho, the more I thought about it, I was like, "Dude, no, I like it." And I think it was like initially a placeholder, but I think the more I like thought about it, the more I was like, "No, this is exactly." But it's exactly what I want it to convey. This is like it like summarizes what we're trying to do in like within 4 words that are a mouthful. That Club Deportivo Movie Club, but
it's silly and it is like a concept. Here's the thing: like, nobody's made a soccer movie podcast too, so like there is no format for this. Like, nobody's done it before. There's lots of movie podcasts, sports movie podcasts, but like and run sort of by people who do soccer, but they'll do like all sports movies. Like, nobody's focused on like, we're specifically like only 80s Joel, sir. Like, that's what's happening here. And it is fun. So like, I agree. I think like the name we threw it out there is like, this is the dumbest name possible, but it's also like hilarious. So like, having club in there both ways, club and club, and using the, colloquial Mexican, a fixation to a club, a soccer club or football club in this case. I felt like that made a ton of sense. It was just kind of fun to have that there, and then having like film club or movie club. But I think it translates perfectly in terms of, we're not trying to be too highbrow. We're not trying to be whatever, but it's also kind of something where you're part of it and you feel like you're, part of this team, and you can help suggest which ones we do and which ones you want to see us do. And we just hope to network this and make it something where we pull in people maybe beyond our San Diego soccer sphere, but at the same time, doing a thing that builds together community through film. And I think that's what's kind of, and soccer. And I think that's what Cesar and I love about it, is that we can get together once a month, we can chat as friends, but we can also kind of pull other people into this crazy world. So the first episode is just the 2 of us. And then we will be we should share the movie so people can try and watch by Friday if they have a YouTube account. Yeah. If they're watching this, you can watch the movie we're watching on Friday. And that would be Goal. The dream begins.
Classic.
What
a classic
movie to begin this with. I mean, Cesar, and this had to be a revelation. I mean, we'll discover it as we watch the first episode, but was this as a transformatory experience as it was to us Mexican American children, dealing with other movies such as Day Without a Mexican, and those also fun classic shindigs.
I guess you'll have to find out Friday to know how I feel about it. Am I right? Yeah. No, but also I think one other thing I wanted to highlight too is that, like, I think Drew and I have kind of like, we've talked about like format, how we want to do things. Like, if people are listening to it and think like, hey, it was cool that you guys did this, or hey, why don't you guys do that too? I'm really curious how the feedback that people have, because I'm sure Drew wouldn't mind me saying this, but like, I'm sure I would love any constructive like criticism when it comes to like, hey, I think it'd be really cool if you guys do this with the podcast, or I think it'd be awesome. I really liked when you highlighted that, or maybe you should do this segment. I think this is just as much yours as it is ours, and I'm really, really fascinated to see how people respond to this. So yeah, definitely reach out to us and tell us your thoughts after that first episode. Maybe you'll love it. Maybe you'll hate it. And you'll be like, guys, like you got to do this instead. You got to do that instead. So I'm
Yeah,
really
what-
curious how people respond.
Yeah, I'm
to
with
it.
you, man. It's definitely one of those things where if you've ever watched Loyal Locals podcast back in the day, or things I've been a part of, and helped driven his podcast, it was all about just like what do people want to hear, and what do they want to talk about, and we got into like what kind of Tony would always have some great questions in the chat of those shows, and we would just run with them for like 20 minutes. Like that's what you do, because it's engaging people and getting them in. We love listener questions, things like that. And so we'll hold off on the second episode recording until we have, maybe some feedback. I think that's kind of part of the idea here is we want to do that. So we'll release the first one here in September. We'll release the next one in October. We're not going to say what the movie is for October, but do we want to say who our guests are, Cesar? Because you can listen on Friday and find out what it is.
Yeah, I think we can give a little bit of a hint.
Maybe they may be currently on the screen right now with us.
Right in front of you. Yeah.
It may be Tones and Shiv.
It's Tones and Shiv. Tones and Shiv.
That's how we'll be. That's our alias on that podcast. Oh, I'm excited. I watched the raw footage. So I watched the raw footage of the first episode, and let me tell you, I was like, publish it. Like, let's go. Like this is it.
Let's do it.
This is so cool. The final product is absolutely gorgeous, and I do like that aspect of people joining in and suggest the movies, because I mean there are some gems that my eyes laid upon on what's already there. And
what's your favorite soccer movie of all time?
My favorite soccer movie of all time. I think that it's gonna have to be just for the cheesiness of it. There's this movie called Atlético San Pancho. Atlético San Pancho was the Bad News Bears for soccer. And essentially it's this classic story of just rural Mexican podunk, absolutely nowhere town of Mexico who gets a team together, and essentially they do everything right, and they play in the Coca-Cola tournament, which sponsor tournaments is huge in Mexico. I've shown my jersey from El Mundialito Bimbo, which is the Bimbo Bread World Cup for schools in Mexico. But essentially they do everything well, and then they get a chance to play in El Azteca. It's a really good movie. I don't know if that one's in there, guys. Is it in there?
I think it's on the spreadsheet, or it's on my like short list to add to the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet also has like all these data, like points that I'm trying to add in there, so that we know like when things were made, where they were released. And we're gonna try and hit all over the world, I think, in terms of influence and where things come from. But I love that idea. To me, it's kind of like the Waiting for Guffman of soccer movies, is what that sounds like. But it sounds awesome. So yeah, I'm willing to give that a go with Tone's solo. Maybe at some point, but I'm excited to have the two balls eponymous, if you will, on the show for the second episode. So there's some good questions here. Maybe that's a great suggestion. That's definitely a high-ranking one on the list.
You've never seen that one?
I've never seen it.
Abraham
has never seen it.
And I'm gonna for a second pen to box this just to see how it looks too. You've never seen Goal
himself.
You've never seen Goal. So you got to watch Goal.
I haven't until you guys told me last week, and I actually watched it after the episode.
Love this.
I have some thoughts. I'm excited to watch the episode that Drew and Cesar do to hear what they think, because I definitely had some thoughts.
Oh,
yeah,
I had many thoughts. Get
engaged with it.
I had many thoughts. We went overtime, we'll say. That's how many thoughts Cesar and I had on this movie. And it's a great movie to start with, because it is one that has so many tropes and just so many, like, that's the word we use so much in that show, because it was like, oh my God, there's just every, cliche of a sports movie, and then like soccer in general was there, which was awesome.
Kicking and Screaming is a good one.
Kicking and Screaming is great.
Yeah, there's some good ones that people are mentioning here. Yeah.
I mean,
we're kind of doing that. We do bring in scenes. So we're like talking about a scene, and then I'll try and flash it on the screen so that you can get some context. That's where, again, watching on YouTube, you get a little bit more context. We'll see how that goes with, like, as we get into like let's say, kicking and screaming, and to see if like Fox or whoever owns that movie comes after us. I don't know, but generally it's a fun way to do it, which is like you get our take on it. We dive in deep, and then we kind of try and just play with stuff a little bit and extrapolate on ideas. Yeah, and then Abe said we should do like scenes of stuff. That sounds fun, but at the same time, I'd say like that's somewhere where, hey, if this takes off, and then we have a second show or something that we do maybe as a more short form check in, we could maybe do depictions in media. The idea, I'd say, between Cesar and I when we talked about this was like, what's the criteria for this? Which is like, is the movie's main plot dealing with soccer? Like, is the main progression of the plot soccer? And there'll be certain films that you'll be surprised are soccer movies, even though you maybe didn't think of them that way. I think maybe our third or fourth film that we'd like to get into the rotation here that we've kicked around is something that will surprise a lot of people that we see as a soccer movie, and we're going to talk about as a soccer movie. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a couple in there that are fun and interesting. And then something that was kind of built as a specific film that reached a number of people, right? We're not going to cover direct to video, things unless it's something that's very special to somebody.
Or maybe we will. Like
maybe we
like
will
a year from now. You never know.
Who knows, man?
Yeah,
we don't know. So we'll expand the criteria as we go, but we're trying to keep it kind of focused on a certain idea of like, what is this, as opposed to like a movie that has scenes about soccer, but like, like Fever Pitch fits in there. Which is clearly about like, even though it's a school teacher and half the movie's about him, and his life, it's about how soccer reflects into his life and helps tell that story, even though it's a terrible team that he roots for, and nobody should ever root for that team. But yeah, it'll be fun, and we're mostly agnostic, I'd say, when it comes to like generalities. We're willing to throw our loyalties under the bus. In our,
luckily, I don't. The only loyalty I have is just to the Mexican national team. Outside of that, it's just
right.
Embrace it all. But I think we're going in there with an open mind, though. I think we're going in there with an open mind with these movies. I think that, especially for me, since I haven't seen a number of these movies, like Goal, that was the first time. I mean, I've known about it growing up, but that was something that I never really actually committed to watching it. But yeah, I think we're going in there with the right state of mind and just being open minded.
I love that.
So for people that want to go ahead and get this done, right? They want to go ahead and join. They are eager to be in a movie club with Drew and some guy named Cesar Hernandez and the great Cesar Hernandez, obviously. You can go ahead and do that now, because not only are you going to provide where to watch these films, the first film is relatively easy. And everybody can join in by Friday, because and Abe also discovered another place, but this is the place to go. Best accessible way to do this. Drew, Cesar, where'd you guys find this? Where'd you guys watch this?
Yeah, that was a discussion for the first like 10 minutes, right? Cesar, we were like, this, because I was like, Cesar, how did you find this movie? Where did you find it?
Because I was trying to find it. I was like, was this a terrible idea that like the first movie we like selected we can't find anywhere? And then I Googled it, and it turns out that the full movie is on YouTube, and it's decent quality, actually. So if you want to check it out there, pretty simple. That's
welcome, guys. We're going to spend the next hour and a half.
Copyrighted.
I mean, it's on YouTube. I don't know, man. Like
it's on YouTube. I think I
Go ahead.
There's no way we get in trouble for that. It's just a link on YouTube. It's fine. It's okay.
Just copyright laws, and then the Titanic meme. It's been 86 years.
No, I'm excited. It's fine. I'm excited to just watch. I mean, I already watched it, but it was fun just seeing like all the takes on the episodes, and just not even episodes, but scenes. And it's a good movie, and I think I watched it growing up, and the second one is also pretty good.
There's so many stories of Goal, and again, this will lead right into you guys' episode and what you guys discuss. Is there's so many people that live that reality of what the main character goes through, especially here in this region. But none of us, and every single one of your tios and uncles and everybody tore their ACL or whatever and didn't make it. But this is the one. It's
a fantasy. It's a total fantasy film for sure. But in Goal 2, I didn't let Cesar watch it, so I haven't let him get ahead of his skis. I could only let him guess at like what's going to happen, which is hilarious because the series goes in crazy directions. And I told him, I'm like, I think we might do 2. I don't know if we're ever going to do 3, which is like one of those movies that's like, if we were doing 3, that means the podcast has been wildly successful and we're starting to run out of other things to cover. That's kind of how I felt. So that's the fun thing. It's like, we'll see that as a barometer of like how far this show goes. It's like, how far in the Gold trilogy do we get?
Very
The books
promising.
are even more insane. They go like in crazy directions. There's like terrorist bombings and stuff like at games. So like it gets fun for real.
I love that. And again,
Yeah,
that's going to be this Friday where the first episode will drop.
Friday.
I had to watch it just to refresh my memory. And again, it's very accessible. This is incredibly fun. I think this is going to be a really cool experience. And honestly, if it's the 4 of us just having a movie soccer club, like, bro, I'm down. But it seems like people are genuinely invested in it. So welcome, gentlemen, to the most successful podcast soon to be on this platform. So it's all yours. It's been nice having it. So
Welcome to the San Diego.
enjoy it. There you go.
we're just the guys who like let themselves in the back and like take some snacks from the kitchen.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
work kitchen here, and then like be like, hey, what's up? And then we justify it by turning in things every once in a while.
We just go about doing our own thing just once a month.
It's big media. I'm telling you, the big 4 letters
fish,
came over,
the
saw
big
San Diego
fish, yep.
football. It's like, we got to send our secret agent
Yep.
and you know, just
100%.
guerrilla warfare. This
It's actually all part of a long con, actually,
Yeah,
guys. That's
Makes
what
sense.
it is,
I just have to ask. I just need to make sure. I've asked you in private, but just again for public record, this is not getting you in trouble, right, Caesar? Please just say
right.
no.
Yeah, this isn't
Cool.
work.
Okay,
It's
great.
not work.
Yay.
I'm not doing soccer analysis. I think work would be clearly be very for all of my actual soccer analysis. Once again, ESPN.com/soccer. You can find all of my actual thoughts right there. This is clearly just me and Drew hanging
I
out,
love that.
chatting about movies.
Yeah.
It's a soccer podcast. It's not about soccer. It's a movie podcast. It's not about movies. And yeah, having a good time.
Great question. Where do you subscribe to these gentlemen right here?
The hardest question all night.
Mm.
Are you subscribed to San Diego Punto Football? Then you're already subscribed. And if you're not subscribed, we are 24 subscriptions away from 1,000 for this beautiful channel that Tony and Chiva has put on their backs and
What
walked
are they going to do to
across.
1,000? What are you guys going to do to 1,000?
Tony and I are gonna
The shirtless podcast.
Oh wow!
I'm going to tell you right now. After losing a combined obese adult male with the weight that Chiva and I have lost,
Okay, let's add it up.
that
Like, how much have
the
we actually
remnants
lost
of
together?
this would get us banned. Like
How
our
much have you lost?
credentials
How
would
much
be
have you
out. 100 pounds.
100 pounds.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Wow,
I-
yeah, congrats,
That's incredible,
man.
man.
Yeah,
See,
man.
they're genuine about it. You were patronizing.
Yeah.
I didn't like that little
What?
crap. That was a Super Smash Brothers at the end, passive aggressive, like
No, of course I'm happy
and
you lost
like
100
Captain
pounds.
Falcon's like, all right, Kirby, good job.
Pinchata copión.
Yeah.
I
Part of
would
the
use
thing,
Kirby.
too,
I would
is
use
just-
Kirby, but yeah.
Yeah,
But that's
oh,
because I was a
Kirby-
cheat.
Kirby's
though. I was a
fun.
cheat. There. I
Cool
was a cheat
people
using
use
Kirby.
I felt like
You think
people who are
so?
like legit. I was Captain Falcon or Link, which I feel like is like kind of like
Link.
Link's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
Link's solid.
yeah.
Okay.
Pikachu's
But-
underrated.
Oh,
Maybe-
Pikachu was also that down B
Yeah.
on
Mhm.
N64 where you
Solid.
just do the lightning. You could easily just take people out
Solid.
doing that.
Yeah.
That was always a good time to do it. I would say also too the podcast feed. So if you're gonna listen to us, which again I think visually you're getting the most out of it, subscribing to the YouTube channel, getting it out of here. But we're gonna make it fun for listeners as well. I don't think you lose a ton, but you do lose some of the visual aspects. We're just gonna drop it right in the feed on the same one that Two Balls is on. Since it's monthly, we don't feel like we're crowding the space too much. And if you don't love it, you can delete it out. But we think you're going to like it as a nice kind of spell and something you can hold on to. Hey, wait till like a nice Friday where you sit down,
Exactly.
grab a glass of Chianti and watch your favorite film, classy.
My
Or a
favorite.
Four Loco, whatever your style.
I think because Drew and I were talking about that too, and I think we could have done it like weekly, bi-weekly, but I think it might be asking a lot of people, like a lot from like people be like, oh, like catch up on these movies like frequently, and I think a month that gives people plenty of time to find time to like watch the movies and whatnot. So yeah, monthly.
And for
And
us, it
also-
makes it more fun. Yeah, we get it.
Easy.
We marinate in it. We enjoy it. You can watch it once or twice, in a month.
Yeah.
And we'll watch something new if it's one you really liked or
Yeah.
had the time to sit down and watch it a couple times. So that's what we like about the idea of doing it monthly. A lot of people, again, we want to make this a unique kind of experience that you don't usually get out of a show. And we thought that was kind of a fun way to do it when we broke it down in terms of not, again, running out of movies too quickly based on our source material. And you have TV shows, we could do a Ted Lasso or a Ted Lasso season 1 or something, start bringing in TV shows, include the Cuervos, things like that would be kind of interesting. But for now, we're sticking with movies, and we'll see where that takes us, and doing it monthly. And I'm just excited to get to hang with my friend Cesar and contribute something after freeloading on the San Diego Punto Football Network for a long time.
No, it's a pleasure to have the both of you on here, and just really cool. And overall, the project is great. And please, by all means, just be fiscally responsible with the gigabits that we have available. But other than that, it's all yours. It's all yours.
I'll leave it all to Drew.
Yeah, Caesar's the talent. He
not really. I'm shout out to Drew, because literally with that last recording, our first recording, he created the script and everything, and then I just showed up and I was like, all right, cool, thanks, Drew. And then I left, and then he dealt with all the editing. So thank you to Drew for doing that.
That's what I sold you, though. That was the bill of goods I told him. I was like,
yeah, that's true. That's true. That is true. That is how you sold it. Yeah.
You don't have to do anything. You just show up. We turn on the mics. We hang out. It's like we're having a conversation. All you have to do is watch the movie and we talk. And if you want to do more, great. But if you don't have to do more, that was what I thought was a fun way to do this. So. And again, it's something I'm passionate about. I love this. I wrote papers on film in college, so literally putting together a little scene by scene or act by act for me is literally breathing. Sometimes that's how I digest movies, which is makes me annoying to watch movies with sometimes, but in this way, it makes it hopefully fun for others to learn things, go behind the scenes, find out why certain choices were made. Or certain things are done, and even just play with it a bit, which I think is kind of a fun way to just digest media sometimes, because it gets way too serious in terms of how people take this stuff. Here's a nice list. Yeah,
this is fantastic. Again, just get involved as you want. Ladybugs, Kicking and Screaming, She's the Man, and possibly the best movie of all time, El Chanfle. Cesar, are you familiar with Chanfle?
No, actually, no. I'm sorry.
This is fantastic.
Drew,
you're pretty.
Well, Drew has a film degree.
I've seen scenes of El Chanfle, so I know of it.
It's on the back. I love that. I think on here we'll just kind of keep this just this universe going and sending people to football, and just I think our end is just rating these performances. Sure. I can't wait for the eventual Airbud. And just the that are going to be coming out when I rank Airbud higher than Santiago Muñiz, there will be riots. I think that's our duty here.
We missed out on that one, Drew. I said, Drew, we should have done that on the first. We didn't do a rating, did we? We got to see that. Here we go. That's exactly the kind.
Maybe that's where we go. Yeah, we got to do some
ratings going forward. Yeah,
I like that. Going forward, it's just the first one. So one of the gimmicks we do have at the end of the show is we give it a score line. So we say, how did this feel to you in terms of watching a game? Yeah. Which I think is kind of a fun gimmick. So that's kind of our wrap up rating system within the show. But I like the idea of having a hierarchy of best players of all time or whatever. That becomes kind of a fun conversation. So in this case, where's your hierarchy and what's your number one? It doesn't get de-seated as we go through, is the next movie the number one now? Or I'm pretty sure our second movie will dethrone our first movie pretty easily, but that'll be kind of a thing ongoing, is is the third one as good as the other two? Or, back to this from Playback, Ladybugs and She's the Man are actually an inverse film of each other. Ladybugs being a man pretending to be on a women's soccer team, and She's the Man being a woman on a women's soccer team. Could do it as a double feature, but we won't do that quite yet. Again, we're holding the ammo. We're very sparing with the ammo here. They're cannonballs. They take a while to load. We fire them hot and heavy. But it's an exciting thing just seeing the reaction here. I think everybody seems to be into the idea, and I think it'll be fun with this community to get artsy but also silly, and as you know, I like to do.
I love that. This is now required viewing for everybody, both the movie and Club Deportivo
Movie club.
Puta madre, güey.
This is no, but that's my wife's.
This is why it's good because you have to make.
Why would
you
you?
have to
Why
make
would you put a movie club?
CDMC, bro. Just CDMC.
CDMC.
CDMC. I mean, hey, you just got a producer. Is
yeah.
this
Yellow
a
cards,
studio
red cards everywhere. Man of the match. I love it. Yeah, that's a great idea.
player of the match? Double meaning
like
for
that.
player and actor? I mean, who stole the script? I don't know. Look, again,
I
this
like
We
that.
kind of did that low key in the show, but we should name it that. Yeah, those are great
Yeah.
great ways to do it, Jeremy. That's a great way to highlight those segments. But we
Andrea
did. We
Munoz
definitely
did
had it
too.
out like a man of the match in the film. So
Yeah.
it
But we
comes, but we
can't
didn't
go-
call it that.
There were moments when we criticized the movie that we were watching, and we could bring out and be like, you know what, that's a yellow card for me. That's a red card for me. Like, I
Right.
like that idea. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
we'll just say it up front. A goal has a border crossing in the first 5 minutes. That's a red card. Like straight out the gate. Just straight out the gate. Going right to the border crossing. Like, come on.
Add goals
Like,
cap and
like-
dates to it if you guys want.
Oh man.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's going to be incredibly fun. I'm really excited to it. We've all been witnesses to a San Diego Punto Football production meeting. But again, this is what it is, and this is really fun. At the end of the day, we enjoy our time. We enjoy doing what we do, and it's really incredible just what we've been able to, and people we've been able to meet, like you guys. So
Yeah.
check it out, Club Deportivo Movie Club, episode 1, the movie Goal. The dream that begins this Friday on this same channel, San Diego Punto Football. We will blast it for everybody. Just listen, watch. Like, it'd be very beneficial for you to watch. Any last thoughts, gentlemen, before we get on this? And again, I don't want to make this work, but are you going to be there tomorrow, Caesar?
Yeah.
No.
I'll be there. I'll be sitting in the. I'll see you guys over there like
I
usual.
love that.
Just keeping an eye on stuff. Kind of like keeping.
I
in
love
the
that.
background.
I love that. We're going to go and just go to living spaces and just kind of scope out just potential. Just Caesar and I. That is a very good jingle. Very good jingle.
Yeah.
Incredibly good.
Oh, speaking of jingles, that
It's
is the
a
thing that I
kebab
can't
shop.
get out of my head. Is the intro song for our show is weirdly great, actually.
Yeah.
Yes. The
Once again, well
intro
done to Drew on that one. Yeah.
for Club Deportivo Movie
Yeah.
Club. If not for Caesar, I mean that's price of admission alone.
Thank you.
But that intro song is marvelous. Again, just hey, nice working with you on this. Enjoy the channel,
Take
gentlemen.
over, guys.
This is
Have
all
fun. Have
yours
fun.
from here on out. This is what you'll be seeing. But again, is there anything else that we need to prepare for this upcoming Friday, gentlemen?
I guess just like go into it like go into the movie the same way that we are, go in with an open mind and yeah, just let us know too your thoughts on the pod. Maybe there's certain things like, just to reiterate what we said earlier, just tell us what you like, tell us what you dislike, tell us what like you want us to add. Like I said, I do see it as just as much ours as it is yours, and I'm curious to see where it goes. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Movie to mouth.
Movie.
Movie to mouth. Just movie to mouth.
What is the name again?
Club Deportivo Movie Club is the name of it. Does that break your brain? Sure. Great.
Maybe.
That's
possibly
kind of the idea. And I
maybe
will
that's the
say,
point.
Jeremy, again, you're a secret producer somehow. My first note that I wrote down listening back to myself, I was like, let Cesar talk more. But yeah, that'll be.
We'll figure out the balance.
represent-
That was the first episode. We'll figure it out. Don't worry.
This
It
is
might
us
come
having
up the
beers
first couple
too. It's like me
episodes.
ranting
Fine.
at Cesar for like
Yeah.
20 minutes about like something that SDFC did
Yeah.
or whatever. So that's how life is.
Football and chill, huh?
I love
Football
that.
and chill. That's
Club
fun.
Deportivo Movie Club.
Like, it could be the colon, so it could be Club Deportivo Movie Club colon football and chill.
Football eat chill. So you guys have your snacks ready, right? Like again, I just want to prepare and be game ready for everything. Are you guys consuming popcorn while viewing this movie? Is there a choice? Is this just notes? How long are we just enjoying?
Like, maybe that's a good question going forward. Is that like when we highlight what like you should be like snacking on, or maybe like highlight
like
what would be the perfect kind of like dish that you should be eating. I don't know, maybe something along those lines. But I
Movie
like that
scran.
idea.
Yeah.
movie screen. Yeah.
I think I'll always probably watch it twice. It's kind of how I do it, just as the person taking the lead on notes and stuff. It's like you do one where you kind of take notes, you do it technically, and then you can do it either or. You watch it one way, just like one way through emotionally, then watch it another time, break it down. But I like the way that Cesar watches it, where it's like, hey, I watched it with my wife or whatever. Like, it's cool to do because you get that sense of like, oh, what's this other person taking in who doesn't have the same knowledge I have about the sport or the same relationship I have, and it's always interesting to see that.
Maybe with this specific movie, it's a Mexican American story taking part in Los Angeles. Obviously, it then moves over. When you see what happens in the movie, but maybe like a very like
gentle
food that I
move?
think of in LA. No, like a Mexican American, like a Mexican American, like LA kind of like dish. Maybe it's a bacon wrapped hot dog. I don't know, and that's the bacon.
I actually say fish taco is kind of perfect for this because it's like you got your fish and chips and then tacos, and so it's like the fish taco is kind of like perfect intersection. I think of those two things.
I like that,
but maybe with like some HP sauce on it instead of hot sauce or something.
Might start getting weird.
Yeah. Well, that's our show, man.
Like, oh my God.
It might start getting weird.
I'm definitely excited to watch again, and just again, everyone, this is going to be this Friday, viernes. Is there a time specifically when it'll drop, gentlemen?
Oh, that's a good question, Drew. Who's doing all
420? I don't know. Probably noon or earlier in the day. We're probably going to set a timer just for sometime in the day so you can enjoy it, get it dropped in your feed if you're driving to work. I always find that's kind of nice that if you wake up on a day and you have to commute to work, you get that there and back. Where if you have a longer pod episode, you can listen to it, and then similarly, dropping it in the YouTube somewhere that day so you can watch it. But that's the goal, is to have it as a Friday drop. This is a Monday drop typically, or Monday live show. Have ours be a Friday kind of complimentary drop on the months that we drop it, or the weeks that we drop it in the months. Yeah. Sorry, again, I'm running on like 30% of normal sleep, so hopefully like half of what I said made sense.
Yeah, you have a whole human being in the next room that is your responsibility now. There you go.
Yeah.
Movie to mouse.
Evil Dad Club.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the ones I watch with Roman versus the ones that I don't, or how I have to pause the movie halfway through half the time. That'll maybe be part of the anecdote, so we'll see. But it's a fun adventure either way. It's fun to begin a life adventure one area, and then also this fun adventure with my friend and this great group of dudes, which I think we really just love hanging out with each other. So it'll be a really fun second episode, but definitely check out Friday. And again, let us know anything you think that we should do, because we will try and incorporate it into the second episode. We're shameless that way. I think, as Cesar said,
exactly.
It's your show. Like we'll make it work. We'll weave it in somehow.
And again, everything
you can find us on socials and let us know in particular, or you can at San Diego.football on any of the socials, and we'll gather that feedback either way.
Correct. Not a separate channel, Esteban. You can go ahead and find it here. San Diego.football. Again, this vast network, this growing thing that is we're being woven into the fabric of San Diego soccer, some would say. Nuestra propia tela. But yeah, same house, same everything. San Diego.football, Club Deportivo Movie Club. I'm incredibly excited. We'll make shirts. We'll make stickers. That's what we've been saying about this show for 4 years. But you know what? That podcast, we'll figure it out. It's been an absolute pleasure. Again, this Friday is going to be great. Watch Goal. It's on YouTube. I'm hesitant, Cesar. You're busy? What's your schedule looking like in the next?
I'm always busy.
Oh.
No, sorry. What were we gonna say?
I mean, look, I don't want to make you work, man, but we'll see each other tomorrow if you have a quick little thought on what transpired with and then I'm gonna get this character some sleep too with Drew. But
I'm not gonna sleep. I'm gonna maybe get 3 hours tonight. We'll see.
I will save that for a possible article down the line.
That is even better. Go ahead and check out Cesar H. Football on X. And again, what was that website? Like ESPN.
It's an up and coming company. It's an up and coming company. Hopefully they'll do all right. I think Yeah, they're
are
doing all
very,
right. I'm not
very profitable.
not entirely sure what the acronym stands for, but they seem to be happy with my work, and hopefully they do okay going forward.
and so is everybody else supporting you here. Drew, again, we're gonna see a lot of you and hear a lot of you coming up. But please don't forget to do the same for your baby and your family. Please, we love you.
That's my goal, man.
Congrats
That's
again,
why
man.
we're doing this once a month. Oh, appreciate it, guys. Yeah, and if you want to follow breadstick content at Drew Stork on the Twitters, that's all I do now. So, yeah, it's great. I posted one today with a breadstick having a baby, and one of my friends, I think that's the way he found out that I had a baby.
No way.
He was like, "What does this mean?" And then I texted him. I was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, this happened on Friday." So yeah,
he's
fun
not
stuff.
kidding, by the way. Like this, I believe it needs more attention. As somebody who's banned from eating breadsticks right now, it's literally a
It's funny.
Oh yeah,
'cause
we're
I,
gonna
like-
drop the recipe soon too for the Oscars breadsticks. Recipe 1.0. It's coming.
it's
I'm like no longer using Twitter as much as I used to. I don't really tweet as much or use it as
This is
much
the garbage
anymore.
is
So
public,
like,
Peter.
so
Thank
now,
God.
so now it's like all right. So who's the most active Twitter user? It's Drew, and you have to go reach out to Sticks.
It's a double.
You gotta reach out to the pod. Just reach out to Sticks.
Yeah, it's a great. Again, this speaks to the silliness of our show. Like, we don't need an official Twitter. We don't need anything. We're great. So, well, if we ever get Alex on the show, I can talk to her about her breadstick, and we'll go from there.
And I think because there is a movie with Alex Morgan, which, by the way, gentlemen,
True.
I am looking into this Monday getting a quote about said movie and see if there can be a sequel, or just let me know if there's a specific question, and I'll go ahead and see if I can work it into getting an answer and just saving that answer for that. But that's going to be an exciting thing. Club Deportivo Movie Club. You're going to find it here, San Diego Punto Futbol. Find what Caesar thinks about what's happening in soccer in San Diego. There would be again another riot if we found out what his co-host would thinks about soccer in San Diego.
My team's dead. I don't know. I have nothing else to add.
Very dunzo.
But,
yes.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, been a pleasure. Please get some sleep.
Guys.
Get some rest.
Yeah, Drew, get some sleep, man.
Yeah, dude. No, like
Yeah.
literally,
I'll try.
go.
But
And congrats a third time. Congrats a fourth time. Congrats a fifth time.
thank you, and thank you, everybody.
Huge moment. Yeah.
We're
Very
gonna see.
excited. Oh, the Abe stands are rebelling against us. We've taken too much of their precious time, so we'll exit stage right. But we'll see you guys on Friday here on the channel, and we're super excited. I think to roll this out and have grow a community with you guys. So really appreciate it, and appreciate the airtime as always, dudes.
Make yourself and Caesar into breadsticks for.
It's just weird how accurate it is. Like that breadstick looked like Alex Morgan.
Yeah.
Like it's not okay. That is not okay, Drew. All right, gentlemen, get some rest.
Bye, guys.
Have a good one.
Congrats.
Love you
Drew.
guys. Friday.
guys.
Friday.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye. I moved the wrong people. Now it's just me, and it's gonna be Abe coming in. Oh.
Well, you're my right. I can't leave.
I am your right, and you cannot leave. That is correct. Yeah, you are being held hostage here.
Drew is phenomenal.
He's coming. He'll be here.
His
Abe fan club.
friend finding out through a breadstick, AI generated pic.
I don't know, like what world.
No, his reaction was like, "Yeah, that's."
I
what
don't.
he- like,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's how he found out. Yeah.
Where as a humanity we've gone wrong to allow AI to be the one to to spread the most joyous, hopefully joyous day of this individual's life to a friend, somebody who he said the word friend. I don't know anymore. Anyway, that's gonna be really cool, really exciting. It's a movie club it's not a movie club about movies, it's not a movie club about soccer. It's just
about movies.
It's really cool, and the fact that we got Cesar Hernandez on board with the project with us is incredibly
Pretty cool.
ridiculous.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. But yeah, he is going to be there tomorrow. We keep referring to this tomorrow, not just because I watched Annie, that's a great song, but SDFC had an announcement. San Diego Punto Football was on beat a couple of weeks ago following the announcement from Tom Bogert of Mikey Varas coming into San Diego FC as the first head coach for SDFC. In a bit here, we're going to go ahead and bring Abraham Cepeda into the fray once again for our San Diego FC coverage. Little bit of an Easter egg on the intro music there, but Drew is hopefully on the beat for that. But we have Abraham back. Abraham, the fans are rejoicing. The chat is going wild once again for your return. What did you think of Goal before we get into this? Really quick, just a quick 30-second go. Did you like Goal, the movie?
Adidas, everything Mexican American, crossing border, like you said, just this movie had everything. A third act craziness. I think this is what movies should be.
This is what cinema should be.
This is cinema, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard the great ones called the Marvel movies, not real movies. Never heard a word about Goal, a negative word, just because they probably don't know it exists. No, Chiba, he is not wearing that hat. It's a crusty crab hat.
Sorry for that.
Not as exciting, but with that, again, we're going to go ahead and dive into the breaking news for today, directly from the offices of San Diego FC, the MLS club coming in 2025, February, kicking off in Snapdragon Stadium. For the first time, they are announcing a head coach. Head coach has been announced as Mikey Varas, the interim head coach for the U.S. men's national team for the last couple of weeks before Mauricio Pochettino joined. We were talking about a couple of weeks ago following Tom Bogert announcement. It was announced and sources let us know that the announcement was going to be had tomorrow, September 17th at Snapdragon Stadium, which efectivamente, that is going to happen. So San Diego Punto Football will be out there with coverage. I'm not sure where you can find the live stream for that, but either way,
it might be in the SDFC's
Yeah.
Instagram, most likely, something like that. Okay, what do we know about Mikey Varas? Obviously, Tony, we already knew this was happening.
Mhm.
Ended up making a report about it that if he was going to be introduced today, press conference on the 17th.
Mhm.
That turned out to be true. And again, this should have came to no shock to anyone, but now that it's official, there's reactions everywhere, right? What's your guys' initial reaction to Mikey Varas?
It's definitely fits with everything else they've done as far as this academy thing, building this youth movement up, trying to develop players. And the most interesting part to me is that this is an American with almost exclusively American experience. Like, you don't see that a lot, I feel like, in the MLS anymore. It's always bringing coaches internationally, whether it's from Europe or somewhere else, that you're trying to bring this and always over here. But this is a guy who's been with Sacramento Republic, FC Dallas, the U.S. men's national team, the youth national team. This is all in the U.S. And to have a coach like that, that's like distinctly American with this other style that's from Denmark, I think it's going to be pretty. I think it's interesting. That's the most interesting question to me. Do you have an American here?
Yeah.
You got a Bay Area, Californian.
So Mikey Varas, a American as you're speaking, alluding to, he speaks perfect Spanish, a Chilean, also sharing dual nationality there. So that's a little bit of his background. In terms of soccer background, as you're mentioning there, he did coach the academy setting over in Dallas. He has had experience in developing players into that next level. I know he was talking about some of the players that he's now sees scoring, that he had a hand in coaching. Ricardo Pepi playing in Champions League, and that's great. However, there isn't a lot of, if any, senior club experience, right? You can say senior experience with the interim position at the U.S. men's national team. Doesn't really. He was
the assistant head coach at FC Dallas, the academy head coach at Sacramento, academy head coach at FC Dallas as well, and I mean the U20 head coach for the U.S. men's national team. ended up taking the team to the Olympics.
Mhm.
But I mean, in all aspects of it, yes, this could work. But I feel like you also kind of let down and dropped the ball on getting someone that could put the San Diego FC name on the map on the MLS. Like you saw when Inter Miami came, they bring big name, like they brought Tata Martino, they brought other head coaches, like LAFC brought Bob Bradley, right? People that already have that experience and that name established in the professional world. I think Mikey Varas is up and coming. He has to start somewhere. I mean, why not start in San Diego in a brand new expansion team that technically their play style aligns with Right to Dream? I don't know. It can go either way, but I do feel like they dropped the ball on this.
And again, like this is, you can see it in a couple ways, right? Because as Abe was talking about, this is a move where you have that marriage of what you're going to need in order to try to be a successful revolutionary team in the MLS, where Mikey Varas knows that development aspect. He knows the groundwork it takes, the foundation of U.S. soccer, that and how that needs to be built up with players are going to be here locally in the region in order to win the MLS, right? Like that's the component that you need to kind of always have in mind, is that you don't need to win international tournaments out the gate. You need to win the MLS or domestic first. Like that should always be what's a front of mind. And sure, player development goes hand in hand with that. You have to have a strong base if you want to have an identity, a philosophy that you're going to bring into Snapdragon Stadium on that day. That Right to Dream DNA is that's going to be an attractive way of playing. That's going to give the results that you're hoping to have. We'll get into some audio here from Mikey Varas, new head coach of San Diego FC, as we're getting some reactions in the comments, and we've been seeing the reactions overall in terms of just overall meh.
Yeah.
Overall meh. And that's not necessarily a negative thing. It's not necessarily a discussion or topic of saying like, well, I don't trust this guy based on who he is or who he isn't. It's about where I expected, to be honest. You know, I made a couple of appearances and had a couple questions with Craig on some other MLS podcasts about like, who would you want? Names were thrown and stuff. I mean, first of all, Hugo Sanchez was never going to happen. Rumors about Juan Carlos Osorio now with Cholos was a rumor at some point. Now, what about having Bob Bradley? He was also part of that discussion as well.
When we had Caesar on a while back, he also asked us like, who would you guys like to see? You know, I threw like Matias Almeida's name on there, but remember way back I did mention, look, SDFC is gonna get a nobody coach that it's kind of like internal or Right to Dream like coach type of mentality. That's exactly what happened. Like, and not to say that he's a nobody, but you go and ask like the average fan that watches the Liga MX or like the Premier League or anything, hey, like Mikey Varas is coach, who? And that's just as honest as it can get.
And a good question here: why was his audio in Spanish? I mean, check the box. To check the box that he knows how to speak Spanish, and I really think so. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, not saying that at all, but that's probably why that was decided to be that way. Because again, you also need that support, and that's who you're appealing to in a lot of different ways to fill that stadium constantly for the next chapter, for the new chapter, as SDFC is calling. And I mean, look, if you have a reaction, let us know and kind of what you think about all of this. But essentially his first major gig as a head coach. But yeah, the developmental aspect of this club is going to be amazing. And I don't take that for granted at all. They have not been shy about sharing that this is the intent and intention of this club, is to develop young talent, is to really raise the level of soccer in San Diego and the region, San Diego, Tijuana, Right to Dream, the academy aspect, 100%. However, at the end of the day, what's going to be more important to most people for sustainability for this team, for sustainability for this person's position, his job, his day-to-day like goal? Is it to develop the most players so then they can be sold off to European teams and then say, hey, this is a Right to Dream product, and really hold San Diego's as that standard across the world and say, hey, the San Diego kid is killing it across the globe. Like, wow, like that's such a great story. Or bring a championship to San Diego. Period. Championship in San Diego. Like those are the two kind of contending things where if they put that together, if those two elements get put together and the result at some point is a championship and you get that starlet, you get to really cement yourself as a revolutionary club and team in this league. From discussions I've been having over in the Leagues Cup, it was just a couple of people across the MLS and having discussions is that no, like MLS and SDFC is going all in on this philosophy. There are GMs, there are front offices across the league who are looking at SDFC and saying, that's not okay. Why do they get to scout in TJ? That's not fair. That's not fair for them to be able to scout into Mexico. This is a point of contention amongst front offices from what I'm being told around the league is that other teams aren't happy that SDFC is allowed to do this. And they're taking full advantage of this. Mikey Varas, is he the key in order to go ahead and move this project forward into the next level? I cannot tell you with any sort of certainty what we're going to see from this team, from his coaching style. And that's what tomorrow is going to be about.
And look,
with his press conference.
To piggyback off of what you said, like, well, what's more important, a championship or developing a one of a million players? Then you're like, damn, this is the guy. He won the Champions League and he's from San Diego, right? Look, the top clubs around the world have produced talent, right? But those clubs also win championships. Like you look at Ajax, they produce a lot of talent, but they also win championships within their league, right? So you first have to establish yourself as a team to eventually attract players to come to San Diego as well.
Yeah.
You know, like, yes, you can find some local grown talent, but you also have to attract players to this academy.
I'm trying to think who the next announcement is. Like from here on out. You had Chucky Lozano, huge
player.
You had the announcement of Patty McNair. Okay, like bang average as far as like announcement. There's no shell event. But head coach, you have your sporting director with Tyler Heaps. Unless there's somebody else in the wings, which the names in that short list, from what I'm understanding, is getting shorter and shorter, obviously. But just overall, Abraham, I think this is going to be a very much in the vein of what SDFC has been doing. They've been doing things that nobody thinks would be possible to do. They're ambitious. But this Mikey Varas, are you looking forward to asking him something, just finding out something about them? Something about Mikey himself as far as going to bring?
I think it's going to be interesting because, like we've said, a lot of us don't really know about him. Like he doesn't even, like when you talk about someone that doesn't have a Wikipedia page, especially like this day and age, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like
he does now.
He does.
Does he
now.
really?
Yeah, he does now.
Someone decided to make him a Wikipedia page, but it's gonna be interesting. Like this is a guy no one knows about. We'll see what's up. Maybe he comes and impresses everyone in this press conference. You never know. Like there have been times where I'm in a press conference and a coach starts talking and I'm like, what is this? This is insane. It's going crazy. You know, there was a lot of people I remember during this U.S. men's national team tenure that were a little taken aback by some of his quotes that were a bit kind of calling out the team. And that's something that you usually don't see, especially on the international stage. Like, I guess he's an interim, so he's at a point where it's like, I don't really care. You never know. What if he's out here calling out Chucky Lozano? That could be an interesting story for us to cover. I think no matter what, because this is such a new team and such a young thing, this is gonna be fascinating. Whether it works well or doesn't work well. I mean, St. Louis is in their second year. They already fired their first coach, so we might not see Mikey Varas next year. I mean, we might just see him forever too. That's the thing. Sometimes in clubs, just a coach stays there forever. So it's going to be exciting to me, I think, no matter what.
You see that it doesn't like it. Big letdown. Might as well let Chucky be player/head coach. And again, the Sergio Ramos rumors popping up. Yes, there are a couple of big names still out there and swirling, but you also have to keep in mind they don't know what they know what the base is, but they still don't have an 11. Yeah. There's not even an 11 set. And unfortunately, I'm not going to include Duran Farid because let me tell you right now, Duran is probably not going to be starting the first game.
I think that might be one of the next signings, a goalkeeper.
Yeah, and and that could be something that, and that's something that Tyler Heaps actually told us before he was a sporting director. During Chucky Lozano's interviews, that's somewhere where he was looking at. He's looking for center back that can play out the back, who is very solid, but also
Patty
very
McNair.
able. Patty McNair. But he was also saying, he's looking for a goalkeeper that can also benefit that play style, that is very open, that can get that ball across the wings and is secure with his feet in order to be that 11th player on the field. Not just, I'm just a goalkeeper. Like, no, it's almost like a Manuel Neuer, this new generation of goalkeeping.
Vegas?
Maybe Coque Vegas. Actually, that was one of the things I was going to ask him just in private. Like, hey, wait, like, so, hey. But in any case, let's learn and hear a little bit. I know you've been busy all day because, again, we work. But you didn't get a chance to listen to this. This will be a first reaction for you. But there was some audio from new head coach for SDFC, Mikey Varas, on just his appointment as the first coach in this team's franchise, in this team's history. ¿Dónde estás? Let me unmute because it's very important to hear you speak.
When you are blessed to work at this level, you have a responsibility to put the best product on the field and to win games and to own that responsibility and really cherish it. As soon as I found out San Diego got a team, I immediately started looking into it because my wife's originally from San Diego. We met and fell in love in San Diego. San Diego is such a unique city. It's got its own flow to it. It's a city that was always home that I never actually lived in. So many friends that I made here. So once I started investigating and I saw it was attached to Right to Dream, as I dove deeper, I started just feeling this gut feeling that this project was calling my name. It was a project I wanted to be involved in at any level, really, because of the impact not only on the game and on the players, but the goal of having an impact on humanity. The long-term goals is we need to create a legacy here in San Diego. And now it's about making sure we build the foundations so that when that happens, we build it in a sustainable way. Expectations for year one on the field will be to win games, to play our football, a football that makes the community proud, the owners proud, the fans proud, the players proud, and to develop our individuals, players that we have on the field, make sure that we help them become even better fathers, even better brothers, even better players, and most importantly, help them reach the dreams that they have for themselves through the vehicle of the team. I've been fortunate enough to be all over the world, coaching at every single level, having the opportunity and the fortune of coaching players who play in Champions League. These are the best American players of our generation. To see Pepe playing and scoring in Champions League games, Reggie Cannon, Jesus Ferreira, countless more. It's been amazing to see all of these, first and foremost, amazing people and amazing players have success. I also coached as an assistant in the MLS, so seeing almost every facility in MLS. This is something different. I think this is a game changer in terms of what the standard will be going forward. The facilities are going to set conditions for success, meaning now it's on us to do the work and to execute, because there will be no excuses based on the atmosphere and the environment that's being built. I promise you that I'll give everything to this project. My heart, my soul, blood, tears, and sweat. I'll give it the love, the compassion, and the energy that it deserves.
Newly appointed head coach for San Diego FC, Mikey Varas, there with some words per San Diego FC. That's what hit socials. And I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but there wasn't a lot of new things that we haven't heard from San Diego FC front office in general, which is, you know what, fine. Have the same message, have the same opinions, have the same ambition, have the same thing moving forward. Even put a, hey,
you gotta mention the
gotta
flow.
get it in there. Gotta get the flow. That was a good flow. But
Gosh,
in any case, this is kind of, again, the language that I'm just picking apart. Where is, or are we going to sit here and just dissect what we're hearing and just take that at face value? Because again, I heard blood, sweat, and tears, and everything that a new head coach and a new player anybody who's going to be competing at a professional level in sports should be saying. But the development of player obviously is important, tantamount here. Winning some games is important to them. Literally, some means two or more, because it's a plural of it. That's not going to get you championships. That's not going to get you a parade downtown. That's not going to get you to be legends in this city. That's not going to get you to be, immortalized like some of the other franchises, Padres, Chargers, that were here who didn't win a championship either, have been. It takes something special to go ahead and be remembered in this city. And again, I'm not saying that they won't, but there's an avenue there. Will Mikey Vara lead into that era for soccer in San Diego, where, this is the beginning of the true race? Because I mean, I as a San Diegan, as an impartial non-fan of this team, San Diegan, I was born and raised here in this region. The soil that was put together to feed the animals that my ancestors have ate and put me here is in this area. I want San Diego, the city, to experience the joy in a sports setting as I've seen other cities have. If the avenue is through my love of soccer and just the adoration of this beautiful sport, that'd be great. If it's baseball, that'd be great. If it's San Diego Wave, well, then the close,
So close.
I'll be okay with that. But that's just me as a San Diegan, as somebody who will be speaking to Mr. Varas hopefully tomorrow. I know that's very important to the people who listen, the people who are following here, is what are you going to bring to me, to the city? How are you going to respect what's been built here and be that amplifier of the beautiful game and put San Diego up there in an international setting? It's just the stakes are high, guys.
You know what I always think about when I see these videos? Like, they put his face on the big screen. Like, is there someone driving by? Like, I wonder if this is like before it's officially now. It's like, how long ago was this? I think I saw some wave signs there still at Snapdragon. Like, you think someone's just driving by on 805 and got the breaking news? Like, oh crap, Mikey Varas official? What?
Well, first of all, for them to know who Mikey Varas are, they probably follow San Diego Puto Football on socials, and saw that we broke the news of this being just officially official. But yeah, you can see the San Diego Wave colors right there on the awning. And yes, the transition from Tyler Heaps pointing, oh, that's great, and then pointing to his screen. It's like him pointing and showing him. Obviously, it's a different screen.
Yeah.
But fun
time
stuff.
I'm on the 805, I'm driving, I'm kind of looking by, like, I wonder if they put something up on the screen. I think one time I passed by, they had like something for like Aztecs recruits and stuff. It's very dumb.
So some more reaction. Yes, we knew this was coming. Young Heaps, young new coach, both can be molded into a bigger plan, create talent, and sell it. Thank you for saying I'm spot on. Take that compliment. Can we win a ship in the process is the question. And again, if that becomes in the process, you win. Hey, that's phenomenal. You would literally revolutionize soccer in this country.
And that's what they're trying to do.
And
right?
that's the ambition. And if
Mikey Varas is a very young coach. I think he's the 5th youngest in the MLS with this. Only 41 years old. There's a couple 30-year-olds that are head coaches in the MLS, but that plays a role, right? The inexperience, and we've seen it before with Nate Miller, kind of like taking over San Diego Loyal, right? And just kind of like the struggles of being a young coach. And I mean, this is top level. Like this is MLS, and we'll see what happens. It's exciting, but I don't know. Hopefully tomorrow I get a different perspective after hearing him talk in person and asking questions and answering different questions. You know, so. Maybe tomorrow, my perspective changes a bit.
And we'll hear some of this also from sporting director Tyler Heaps, who had the quote of Mikey embodies the values and ambitions of San Diego FC. His ideas on the game and how it should be played align with ours, and his commitment and energy throughout the process is one that we feel connects with his community and our vision for the club, because there was a short list of about 12 before it was narrowed down to Mikey Varas. That was not a part of the quote. He then continues, Tyler Heaps, with saying, we have a big aspirations for SDFC, and we believe Mikey has the right drive, passion, and leadership to help us build a winning culture. I'm looking forward to welcoming him to San Diego and continuing building our staff that will help support and help us accomplish our goals. And then absolutely dropped a banger of a picture. Just the newest mixtape, the Socceroonies, just the bad boys of soccer, the bad boys of the MLS, coming in. I'm gonna on the side. I'm gonna ask Tyler, like, "Hey man, that was a hard picture."
Picture to anyone that doesn't like any person that just
Out of
soccer.
context.
Oh, are they modeling the jackets? Like they don't know who it is.
Yeah,
They're
Is
like,
that,
oh,
is
they're
that Lindsey
modeling.
Horan's husband? Like, that's what people
That's
like.
who's very
Genuinely,
in tune.
I looked like just randomly during my research. I like put in Tyler Heaps' name because I was trying to make sure I was spelling it right. And first article that came up was a People magazine article about like who is Lindsey Horan's new husband. I was like, what the, like it's crazy how big of a star like those players are, and maybe Tyler Heaps will one day be as great of a star. Probably not. I think it's impossible to get to that level, but like I don't know. I think I'm a little more excited than most people just because it's really. I didn't know. At no point was I expecting SDFC to go out and make a splash hire.
Yeah, no, that was never going to happen. And again, I wanted people's expectation to be tempered. And again, I think that's going to be, again, this is how we work this. Like I talk to myself and I bounce things off of Chiva for like, hey, what are you going to ask? What are you going to ask, Gabe? Or like just my headspace kind of roams around like, how are you going to put your style into something that's so rigid with Right to Dream? Like, how are you? Because again, the argument can be made like they could have hired anybody to just be there, be a manager, and let the Right to Dream go. They already have the assistants. They already have the way that they want to play. Go. You have some players that know how to do this. Professionals can go ahead and adapt, and they know what they're also doing. But at the end of the day, like this is a marriage of sorts. This is two sides of the house that have to come together. Tyler keeps saying there that he's very happy with his style and outlook on how the game should be played. So if that means that Tyler Heaps, who is a binary 0-1-1-0-0-1-1 way of looking at soccer, and that vibes with Varas' style, then we'll go ahead and see that. Some of the comments here: Keylor Navas is still a free agent, says Esteban. Hanguti rumor a couple times back. And again, this is what San Diego FC is going to be competing with, right? They're going to be competing with the MLS giants, who are signing some very good talent, right? You have Marco Royce signed for LA. You had obviously Giroud, you have Lloris, you have potential even more French players being incoming to LA. This is going to be an interesting outlook because if a team of kids can beat that team, then you have nothing to worry about. It could happen. That is definitely something that can happen. But tomorrow is the press conference. San Diego Punto Football will be there in person, having the coverage. So check our social media handles out. That's on X, on Instagram, and here on YouTube for any videos that'll be incoming. And keep your eyes out because Abe, your pen is about to catch on fire.
Maybe not mine. Maybe some other people might be writing for us soon. There's
some
little Easter eggs. But no, maybe
very true.
We'll see.
As editor in chief, Abe has that power. Like you have a lot of power, Abe. I hope you know that. You have a fan club. Like again, we follow the fans like that. They demanded more Abe. Here you are.
They want Abe.
I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you do.
He's like, yeah, sure. You're fired.
I love that ability. I should not be given that
That's too
ability.
much power for you. All right. Well, that kind of wraps it up for our San Diego FC segment.
Absolutely.
And
for right now. There will be more. Mikey Varas will return.
And now to wrap up the show, everyone's favorite segment.
Is it?
Goals, Gavs, and Greats. You don't think people? This is people's favorite segment, Tony? I know. I know it's Abe's favorite.
Honestly, I'm still thinking about how I the comparison I made to Tyler Heaps and thinking about how he's watched the show sometimes, and I'm kind of freaking out a little bit. But I
It has been
organized.
confirmed.
Yeah,
He
he
did
watches.
because I remember he told us at that first
Yeah,
Chucky Lozano intro. I
at the
think he
Chucky
was just
Lozano
not
one
enough.
when he
Yeah,
wasn't
Tyler,
his own boss. He was the assistant to
the regional
the
manager.
regional manager to the sporting director, which he then later usurped. But to usurp, somebody had to be there. He became his own boss essentially.
This is
I wonder if-
genuinely like from the
Very
office,
well
where he's
played.
like, I'm the only assistant could be myself. Like I can
Yeah.
only. That's insane.
Tyler
yeah.
Heaps just doing this the whole time.
he's just Lindsay in the other room.
He said, "I got them to get me a
was that,
soccer
Tyler?
team."
What was that, Tyler? Nothing. Looking over
I got these people
spreadsheets.
to bring me a whole soccer team in MLS.
All right. So let's go ahead and look at some of these goals, gaffes, and greats.
I'm going with the goal that Abe threw up there. Amiral's Ali.
Do you have the link?
I just sent it on the.
Oh,
chat.
yes, you do.
This was the fastest goal in Wave history. A very much needed goal. I don't remember the last time Wave even like had a lead at a game. 25 seconds, 30 seconds into the match. This was the goal of the week.
This is it.
Coach Jimmy Coonrod just couldn't walk away with at least a point. But here comes San Diego already on the move. Ali off the cross. How about that?
Off her thigh into the net, 30 seconds into the game. Landon's reaction to this goal was phenomenal. Just fist bump saying, heck yeah.
Bubbles out of wave matches by the Sirens and supporters.
Like, this obviously deserves the goal of the week. Like, just fastest goal in Wave history. Like, come on. You can't beat that today.
Yeah, it's a great team effort, team play there, and this could be the turning point for this whole entire team. San Diego may look to really just look at this moment as the starting point of a new chapter or hopefully a new book entirely compared to what this season's been. But Amir Ali, you are the recipient of San Diego Punto Futbol's goal of the week.
Congratulations.
You know what I just noticed on that play? Pogarch, if Gascarino held on to the ball a little bit longer, Pogarch would have gotten like a penalty there. She was trying to push her down. That was kind of funny.
So you're saying right here after this,
Like for a second, like she's about to like just go right at her.
No, she pushes her with the arm.
yeah, she gets that arm extension out.
That would've been a penalty,
It's
right?
not a goal. Yeah, if it's not a goal, it could have definitely been checked.
Yeah, 100%. So that is the goal of the week.
I have a great gaff for you guys.
So you have a great gaff because again,
we were talking about it pre-show. I was like, what should be our gaff? Like, we're talking about it all week. And I said, hey, guys, I got you.
mhm.
This Saturday, I got to do commentary for UPSL site San Diego Internacional. We've been
Loving
doing
it.
their commentary for about 3 years going now. I mean, it looked kind of choppy on there, but whatever. The game got delayed about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Because I get there, go talk to the head coach, Matty Powell tells me the jersey, that nobody washed the jerseys. We're supposed to wear the red ones. They're stinky. They haven't been washed in 3 months. I'm like, damn, what's going to happen? Well, they had to go wash them right before the game. They came out of the dryer a little bit. 20 minutes after, that's why it got delayed, 20 minutes. And they got to wear their red jerseys. I didn't get numbers. Refs didn't get numbers until the very last minute. But yeah, San Diego Internacional game was delayed 20 minutes, but they did win 8-2 against City SC Temecula.
All right. So
With Luke the Juke Riley scoring 4 goals.
4 goals, runner up for San Diego Punto Futbol's player of the week, Luke the Juke Rayleigh, on there. But yeah, I'm like, wait, but you're saying that they're wearing the red ones right there.
Yeah.
See,
Game got delayed.
I think
20
they could have gotten 10 goals if they stunk because the defenders wouldn't want to get near them. And it was hot.
Yeah, it was hot in there. And so
brother.
the shirts were musty. So they had to get washed.
What's that, brother?
In my head, they're just like wearing like drenching wet, like fresh out the washer, and then they just smell even worse. Like
Like patas.
The coach did tell me, I don't care if they wear wet shirts as long as they're clean.
You know what? That's a coach looking out for the health and safety of his players. So,
Yeah, 100%.
shout out to San Diego Punto Football's favorite team here in San Diego, San Diego Internacional. It's also, guess what, Abe? Sorry to tell you this. It's your girlfriend's favorite soccer team.
San Diego Punto Fútbol, your girlfriend's favorite podcast.
Doubt it.
Yeah, probably.
Doubt it.
Because San Diego Punto
I can
Fútbol
speak
is
for
not
everybody
because San
here.
Diego Punto
Doubt
Fútbol
it.
is not a podcast. That's why.
Doubt it. Doubt it. Doubt it. Doubt it.
All right, time to move on to our great of the week.
Well, I
And
mean,
it's-
here's the thing. You thought I shouldn't have done this because I thought the great of the week was, saying goodbye mostly to a icon of Mexican soccer. Just somebody who really, if you grew up in Mexico watching any sort of football, you know who this individual was. And it's just a end of an era in terms of just the vastness. But then you told me, Chiva, no, that cannot be the great of the week, because I was going to dedicate it to El Jovi Bermudez and his unfortunate injury.
Cayeron al sur de la capital y que ahora
That's
pues se traslada, si ya se va a ir, Roja. Sí,
yeah, no,
señor,
it was
Roja,
a
vámonos.
terrible
Se va a
tackle,
ir.
tackle on El Jovi
Se
Bermudez in
ya
la Liga de
Roja también.
Expansión.
Pues
His leg broke. Abe, I don't know if you saw this. Abe, do you know who Jovi Bermudez is?
No.
Atlante legend, campeón con Atlante.
Mm-hmm.
Center attacking midfielder / winger. Very short players. Therefore, his name was
The
Hobbit.
Hobbit, like, yeah, that mexicanamente.
Very short player. I think his height 5'3".
Jeez.
Yeah, so legend of the Mexican League, and just played in America for 2 years, played in Querétaro, played in Chiapas, Puebla, Tapachula en la Liga de Expansión, Atlético Veracruz, and Atlante currently again.
Well, I don't know.
Why were you gonna give that the great?
Because of his career, because he's never playing again. That
Okay,
great contribution to
yes.
soccer in Mexico. But no, obviously the other person that we're talking about is somebody who did contribute a lot to soccer in Mexico, and entertained us a lot. Andre Marin, one of the biggest reporters in Mexico, Andre Marin Puig, who passed away today in the last couple of days. Really impacted a lot of people. You saw people from across media, English and Spanish, just came across him, just giving their thoughts and prayers for Andre Marin. Again, if you're not familiar with him, I think he's a person who really took this thing seriously and covered the sport like it deserved to. But it's good to honor those people who I think, we get a kick out of what we're doing, but we could never hold a candle to somebody like Andre Marin, just a legend amongst journalists. Like if you told like somebody like stop doing that, you're insulting me with this, I'd consider that like a blow. But thankfully, you have a real reporter like Abraham Cepeda, who
I was reading stuff that he started when he was like 14 years old, which
Mhm.
is just insane. That's so cool, man. Like, rest in peace. And too young. Like, that's way too young, man.
Yeah, 100%. And I know this guy because of the sport. I know who that is because of soccer.
Yeah.
Like that's
he's amongst the legends like David Faitelson,
Mhm.
Jose
Jose Ramón Fernández, los protagonistas,
los
man.
protagonistas,
Andre Marin
just-
is
he's just
Martinoli.
a legend. He's on the top tier journalist category, and it's really sad to see a legend like that go too early. But yeah,
Hey,
condolences to that.
Es parte de.
Es parte de.
Es parte de. That's
Todos es un reloj.
oh, whoa, bro.
Whoa.
All right. That's been goals, gaffes, and greats. Jorge Campos could never hold a candle to. That's
No.
that's
Con las chanclas.
pobrecito.
Las
all
pezuñotas afuera.
right.
Edwin, what happened in the America Chivas game this weekend? Chivas, did you-
Ay,
Chinga
fuck,
su madre
man.
la América.
Oh, fuck,
Chinga su
man.
madre. Everyone
We don't
menciones
bring
el
that
league.
up. But hey, look, Esteban has a good question. If I could ask some question, it would be, what's the next signing? How will you guys balance the right to dream style with your style? Varas? And yeah, that's hopefully, there's a cool little nickname going around. I don't like it, but it's First Question Tony. Because
First question, Tony.
I kind of, you haven't heard that? I'll tell you. It's told me that actually, but I think
Was it
that's
the
kind
wave
of
person. Was it?
yes.
Okay, I think I know.
Yeah. But I think that's a good place to start. It's just, hey, these two styles are marrying each other right now. Right to Dream, Varas ball, whatever that means. Mikey ball. I like Mikey ball better.
Mikey ball
Mikey ball.
has a better ring.
That 100%. Let's coin that right now. Mikey ball for that. But we'll find out. We'll meet him in person tomorrow. Get some exclusive audio. So check that out on all our social medias, sandiego.football, across all social platforms. Gentlemen, it's been a good night. It's going to be a long day tomorrow, but we'll find out about Mikey Ball. Varas tomorrow, SDFC, new head coach. San Diego Wave on Wednesday, Snapdragon, back-to-back days. We're doing it. We asked for this, guys. We're doing it. Abe, have a good night. People in the chat, have a great night. You guys are awesome.
Laters.
Catch us next week, Friday. There's a new movie club. Watch Goal.
Yeah.
And then catch up with Cesar H. Football. Can't believe it. And Drew Steck. For that, on the same channel, sandiego.football. I will not make Varas hate me on the first day. If anything, it's my job to charm him. I'm pretty good at that. See you later, Esteban. Have a good one, guys.
Have a good night.
Bye.